Hey there everyone, this is Ray Carcillo for Classic Game Room, and today we're looking at Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Nintendo Wii from Midway Games. With the very fabric of reality held together by only the thinnest of margins, due to the constant chaos and traveling between the realms caused by all of the Mortal Kombat tournaments of late, the Elder Gods feel that there is only one way to put an end to this threat. Another Mortal Kombat tournament. They create a massive pyramid and have it rise from the ground, which promptly erupts with flame as the Elder God's champion Firespawn Blaze will burn and destroy all the combatants drawn to him, like moths to a flame. And only the one who will defeat him will decide the fate of the realms and be the final champion of Mortal Kombat. Armageddon serves as the final game in the Mortal Kombat storyline due to the finality that Blaze, the end boss, represents in the game. But if Mortal Kombat was going to go out, it would be with a bang, or a fatality, or a babality, or an animality, or some other weird and twisted and depraved way to mutilate your enemies.
Finish her. You win.
The Wii's version of Armageddon, an amped-up port that was released a year after the PS2 and Xbox version, is special because it is the only game in the series to feature all 63 characters from the series as playable characters, including a 64th slot for the player's created character, 2 new characters created for the game, and Chameleon, spelled with a K, a female version of Chameleon, spelled with a C, that plays like Jade, Melina, or Katana, and was only featured briefly in Mortal Kombat Trilogy for the N64. This feat was not an easy one to accomplish and could make this very well the greatest arcade mode for the series to date. Unfortunately, even though the Wii version was the only version to feature all characters and was released a year after its PS2 and Xbox counterparts, it lacked the other system's online play, which prevents you from really taking advantage of the full character list compiled for the game. Along with the arcade mode, you see the return of Conquest, an objective-driven third-person fighting mode that follows the story of the 2 new characters in the series, Taven and Dagon. You take over as Taven, while your brother Dagon serves as the main antagonist as you are both demigods, children of the Elder Gods, and the rise of Blaze has awakened you from a forced hibernation by your parents. Sounds like someone got grounded for not eating their vegetables. You and your brother must race through the realms to reach Blaze, with the story going that whichever one of you defeats him first will become a full god and decide the fate of the realms. Although smoother than previous versions of the Conquest mode, with more clearly laid out objectives that make more sense to the actual story of the game, while forcing you to fight long-term series favorites along the way, the Conquest mode seems like nothing more than a cheesy way to try to earn money in order to unlock new items from the returning crypt full of goodies. The gameplay for it is also very simple and reminiscent of a hack-and-slash button masher, a far cry from the more finesse-oriented gameplay the arcade mode usually requires of you to pull off the spectacular special moves and bone-crushing fatalities that have been the series' staple. Speaking of the fatalities, Armageddon features the brand new Creative Fatality mode in arcade mode. Instead of having fatalities play out cinematically after a long and complicated button input like in previous installments, Armageddon has you input quick button prompts with less time between each button press to try to pull off a jaw-dropping and breaking 11-move fatality that will leave your victim as a broken and bloody heap. The more moves you successfully pull off, the more money you again earn for the crypt. A nice feature for those who have trouble pulling off the classic fatalities, but left me wanting more of a personal feel for each character. I felt was a cop-out for the more hardcore fans that really just want to see Scorpion pull off his mask and burn you alive. Along with the simplified fatality system, the fighting gameplay has also been toned down, removing the 3 combat style system implemented in the previous 2 games in lieu of a 2 combat style system, 1 hand-to-hand and 1 weapon. This allows for less combo memorization and more classic bloody MK action, but of course, some characters are weaponless and therefore still have 2 hand-to-hand styles to give players options of whatever they prefer. The Wii version of Mortal Kombat Armageddon also features compatibility with the classic and GameCube controllers, and I found these to be much easier to use in the long term due to inaccuracies in picking up the motion control the Wiimote format uses in order to pull off special maneuvers. Impressively, this first and only version of Create a Fighter in the MK series is a tour de force for customization fiends. With a full list of options for every aspect of your character's physical looks, as well as their fighting aspects, you have to ask yourself why they didn't include one sooner. For simply being a last generation port, Mortal Kombat Armageddon does look and sound great as well. From the blood splatter effects and visible character bruising to the great soundtrack and classic "Get Over Here!" Mortal Kombat Armageddon lives up to the peripheral standards set in previous chapters of the franchise. Overall, with more characters than ever before, and a real focus on customization and player options, and even a new Mario Kart-inspired minigame called Motor Combat, Armageddon is the deepest Mortal Kombat game yet while still staying close to its roots, with its strongest mode still being the arcade fighter, and is a must-have for any fan of the series who wishes to see how it all ends. For now.